Alright, so in the last video we covered how to implement methods in order to calculate perimeter and area, calling those methods and then returning a value. So in this video we're going to be able to take away the hard-coded values that we have in here for length and width and pretty much transform them into getting those values from the user who's using this program. This is really important for a lot of reasons, but mainly because this kind of introduces you to understanding how how users interact with a program that a developer makes, just to see the other side and see the way things are laid out. So the first thing that we need to do is go up to the top here, and we're going to have to type in import java.util.scanner and then end the line with a semicolon. And what this is going to do, and it's going to say unused import right now, and the reason is because it's an unused import. The import is a library we're referencing, and that library is super important because it enables us to use certain embedded methods that are part of that library itself. So for this library in specific, it is a scanner library, which pretty much takes in user input from the console down here. This is the console input. So by utilizing it, we're now able to receive inputs from an outside place outside of this program. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go in and we're going to write the code real quick that allows us to take in the values. So the first thing we're going to need to do is create a scanner object. Now, object-oriented programming can get kind of complicated, but it's important to understand that this is essentially a reference that allows you to do certain things and call certain methods that can do much higher level programming than programming it all out yourself. So this is scanner, and we're going to call it my object, and then we're going to say new scanner, and then we're going to say system.in. The other option here would be like system.out is another common one, but system.in, and that allows us to take in the input. And then we're going to create a line in the console that pretty much tells the user what they need to do. So we're going to say system.out.print line, and we've seen this before in our previous videos. We're going to say type in a length. And then click enter. Alright, so we'll do that for this, and then we're going to set the value. We're going to take away 2, but we're going to set the value of length equal to my object, which is referenced right here. And we're going to say dot next integer. So it reads in the integer that's next in that series. So if you have multiple inputs at once without clicking enter, you could essentially create what's called a for loop, and we'll discuss that in my next series of videos. That'll iterate through all the inputs being placed in, and it'll just say if there's a string, if there's like a double or a float or something like that, it'll go through that list until it finds an integer value, and then that integer value will be called in, and it'll be stuck into this length variable. So that's going to be the same. It's going to be for that, and then we're going to say system, and it's going to store that value in there, and then we're going to reuse this line, but we're just going to change it to width. And then it's going to store the value that's next entered in by the user into the width. We're going to say next int, because there's only one int being loaded at a time with the way I have this program set up, just to make it simpler. This is kind of how it would work in a lot of scenarios. But so now we have, I believe, everything that should be needed to be successful. So we have the scanner, type in a length and click enter. Length is equal to, yep, and then type in a width and click enter, and int width is equal to, yes. So this should work. So now it's going to execute this program essentially in the same way once we enter our values, where it's going to take those values that we enter in, store them in the length and width variables, and then pass them through the rest of this program to get calculated out. So I believe for length we had stored 2 in there, and for width we had stored 4, so that we would have gotten a perimeter of 12 and an area of 8. So we're going to run this program, and we're going to enter the same values, and you can see that it works the exact same. So here we go. Type in a length and then click enter. We'll click in 2. Type in a width and then click enter. 4. Perimeter is 12, area is 8. So in this video, it was really important to understand user input, and I do encourage you to build on all the knowledge that we've learned so far in these videos and kind of expand what you can a little bit. If anybody watching these videos is curious about simple projects you can work on, I'd be happy to kind of lay out in a few videos maybe the starting guide to kind of starting a project, and then in a later video I can tell you how to finish it, so that way it kind of gives you the opportunity to give it a shot, and then you can figure out, you know, if you weren't able to get it, what you did wrong, or maybe if you did do it, maybe I can help you do it in a bit of a better way, or you just did it great. So this is the end of this introduction to Java. There will be a next series that comes out that will be diving a little bit more into some more complicated concepts in Java. Nothing too crazy yet, but definitely some things that are super important. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and please shoot me a subscribe if you do watch these videos. I really appreciate it, and I hope that you learned something new.